We are back at it again with Build 617 on a mission to publicly explore the what ifs, why nots, what nows, and how to make sure Boston becomes the best place in the world for entrepreneurs to build and stay. Today's guests are Ben Katz and Terwiesch, co-founders of HYBRD. The mission of HYBRD is to take world-class athletics coaching and make it available to everyone. HYBRD aggregates your wearable data, fills the gaps with a simple AI logger, and uses that complete picture to build a personalized training program from the best coaches in the world, like Alex Viada, who coined the term hybrid athlete. From there, HYBRD Agent keeps you on track, adjusts your schedule around weather, travel, and fatigue as you progress. Everything you get from a several $100 a month coach, you're getting at a much lower price. But where is HYBRD going? How do we manage an increasing amount of data about our bodies, and what does the digital operating system look like for our body? HYBRD is building the answer.
And for Boston, this especially matters because Ben and Mats are part of the Whoop Mafia. They're part of Y Combinator, and now they're building here in Boston. At Build 617, we're absolutely thrilled that they chose to be in Boston and can't wait to dive in. Ben, Mats, welcome to Build 617.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Great to be here.
Dude, we're pumped. I think we start with, just in the news, Boston's newest decacorn, Whoop. We love you guys. Great job.
Let's go.
We're here with the Mafia. You came out of there. It's a breakout Boston consumer breakout, which is an important and a little bit of a zag, as goes Boston companies. What'd you learn there? How has it prepared you for this journey you're on now?
First of all, shout out to everybody at Whoop, like some of my best friends in the world and co-founders. I've spent a lot of time there, and great company, great product, et cetera. I think it's hard to understate how much we learned in Whoop about just like fitness tech in general. It was both of our first jobs in product management. Learned a ton about product ecosystem, how users interact with their fitness data, how to think about human recovery performance across the line. And all of that was kind of carried over into our mentality and ethos, both as athletes, as product builders, and for HYBRD in particular.
And I think, personal story, my sister-in-law lived in Dallas and Atlanta, moved to Boston. She came in August. By November, she's already running the Cambridge Half Marathon.
Yes,
there's something in the water here. And I guess, you start in Boston, and maybe there's something that explains Whoop and you guys, why are we in Boston in the first place? There's something about running and performance, yet science. Do you feel that from your office or wherever you work?
Boston is the best sports city in the world.
Absolutely.
On top of that, we have some excellent office choices.
Okay, tell me about it. That seems it's not a leading question, it's a leading request for question. What's going on in the office?
So when we first came back from YC and we were kind of figuring out where we wanted to work out of, our biggest product requirement or office requirement was we need to be able to put a squat rack in it. And then we kind of reversed that requirement a little bit as we went along. We actually said, well, why don't we just put the office where the squat rack is?
Okay.
We actually work out of the storage room at the local Watertown Arsenal CrossFit, which is a fantastic, it's where our users are. It's a great vibe for being able to just get our workouts in ourselves, take content. Jason, the owner, is fantastic. You should all go and sign up and check out the gym. It's fantastic, but it's great.
Wait, so storage room, how big are we talking here? It's someone opens a closet,
this is pretty big.
Yeah. It's roughly the same size.
That's so good. I wish, this is probably 2 months ago. I forget, someone tweeted out their custom squat rack. And I don't know if you guys know Brad from Suno, he's the head of engineering there. He's tweeted back, he's we got one of those. I missed your tweet back to the both of them being what do you mean you have to bring the squat rack inside? You guys don't just have this? That's cool. CrossFitters love the app. Is that a huge part? I feel CrossFit people that I know, I'm not one, are some of the most intense about knowing everything about their body. What are they doing? At the same time, while just going as hard as they can at the wall.
So CrossFitters, High Rocks.
What's a High Rock for the audience?
For the audience, yeah.
For the audience.
So High Rocks is a really exciting fitness trend coming out of Germany that's now kind of taking the world by storm. So in the next year, well over 1 million athletes are going to participate in a High Rocks race, which, if you're not familiar, is an indoor race. It's standardized. It's the same every time. It's a combination of running and everything from a rowing machine, skiing machine, lunges, just a very cross-discipline race. And it's really taking off. And there wasn't really a great product for that specific style of training. And people that do High Rocks, people that do CrossFit have really enjoyed HYBRD for that reason.
Okay.
The way that I would think about it is that most of the products in the market are focused on one of strength or cardio, whereas every athlete that really cares about trying to get the most out of the performance needs to figure out how to put those puzzle pieces together.
Yeah.
And that's where we play.
I need to get this app because I'm this is exactly where I live in my life. I started like distance running. I'm like, you was a college athlete back in the day, many years ago. Have been doing more, like I did a couple half marathons the past 2 years. And I was like, I should probably get back to lifting, because as I started running more, I noticed like my basketball was getting worse. And I was just kind of soft. Like I was getting bullied by small people. And I was like, I got to stop this. And so then I lifted. But now, I'm like, they feel like they're competing. Now my calves are way tighter. And like, but I want to lift because I'm stronger, and just managing all that has been difficult.
Yeah, 100%.
We can help you with that.
Okay. All right, dude.
We also fondly call our target market the washed up college athlete. So,
I'm definitely not it then. I just, I don't think I'm washed up.
He's not even washed. He's not
You
even
tell the Cambridge Athletic Club, you can look up my stats. I'm not washed, bro. I'm not washed. Shout out Commando. I'm going to tell them that's my team. We lost in the playoffs though.
This year, this is the year.
This is the season. We have 4 seasons a year. We're always getting after it. I think one of the interesting things is, and I think maybe Boston is particularly suited for this, but like, you're a consumer company, you're a data company, you live in the AI era, you're an AI company. Like, what is the right set of Venn diagrams? Did I get them right? Are those the 3? Are there more? How do you think about, are those conflicting?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think of them as conflicting.
Okay.
I think about like where we kind of sit, and I think this is part of why us as founders are the right people to kind of try and solve this problem, is we kind of sit at this intersection of like personal use as like athletes ourselves, of like technology experience from a professional perspective, and from like just like passion of like where we want to be and who we want to be around, et cetera. In terms of like where the company sits, like the great thing about what's happening right now is that you have two macro trends intersecting that are both benefiting us. One is that wearables are becoming more and more ubiquitous. 34% of Americans wear a wearable. That number is only going to increase, especially as new form factors, et cetera, come onto the market. Data is just going to be more and more plentiful. And then at the same time, fitness and health are inherently hyper-personal. And there's no one-size-fits-all thing that like truly like it fits for everybody. And so AI is the first technology that actually unlocks personalization at scale. And putting those two things together puts us in a really good position to be able to make magical user experiences for people that are in our target market.
Yeah. Just because I'm curious, like, what does the data landscape look like in the wearable? I mean, so we've got like Apple Watch, we've got Whoop, we've got Garmin, we've got Oura rings.
Yep.
How like available is the data for someone that's potentially like sitting on top of all of these data sources? Like, what's it look like? Who should I put on blast of like, you need to be more open with your data? Like, I'm just curious.
Everybody is actually pretty open with the data.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like some of them you have to apply to get API access, which is totally reasonable.
Yep.
But unless you're doing something that is directly trying to copy / knock off / be problematic with their ecosystem, they're pretty willing to play ball because it just adds value on top of their product experience.
Yeah.
Like,
Makes sense.
There's the data, like it's, at some point, the human body only produces so many different data points. Like if we fast forward 20, 30 years, like all of the wearables will capture basically all of them. Like there's no world where that's like not probably the case.
Yeah.
And so then user experience, form factor, branding, et cetera, are the things that help differentiate over the long run. And from a user experience perspective, leaning into an ecosystem play and letting other people like us build powerful tools for a very like specific subset of users is a great thing to do.
Yeah.
What about like sensing? Is there any like sensing in any of those products that's like not captured that would be a good data stream for like your guys?
Oh, there's a lot of stuff that I would like to have.
Yeah, my wish list, and there's a lot of awesome research being done, especially in Boston here, but like things like glucose, non-invasive glucose tracking.
That's cool.
One of our really good friends down in Austin, Scott Hickel and John Capitalupo, the ex-Whoop founder, they're building Throne. I'm an avid user. Tracks your stool, if you know what I mean.
Whoop for your poop. I believe that's what they call it.
That's right.
So like Ben said,
Daily active is probably understatement.
Some more than others. I think Ben's right that in the long term, all of this stuff is going to be captured. But the more you capture, you also becomes harder and harder of a problem of like, one, like what's the right system that gets all this data in the right place, deduplicates it, that sort of thing. But also like, what do you actually do with it, and what actually moves the needle for your training and your performance, and what's kind of more like a vanity metric, or even just like you're overthinking it.
Yeah.
If I had an invasive glucose monitor, like, are you guys able to take in that data?
Not right now, no.
Yeah.
Not right now, but if you ask nicely, we could.
I mean, because I've thought about it. I mean, I'm like a sugar addict, like child of the 90s, like we didn't know, and now I've just got like long-term addiction, which is why I have to run, it's like connected issues. But like I've thought about wearing one, but then I'm like, am I really gonna, like, how often am I gonna really look at this thing? And it's like, oh man, having some kind of digital operating system for my body, trademark. That took that into account would be awesome. But you probably shouldn't, I'm just going to onboard to the app soon. So you probably shouldn't, make me onboard before you build things for my feedback.
Onboard, and then all the feedback that you have for us, the way our support function works is that you can press a button in the top right corner of the screen and it just opens an iMessage with one of the two of us and you can just spam us.
We don't do support emails.
Yeah.
We do support text the founders.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
and this text do get to you or they go to
it's literally like
straight to
it's a 50-50 split.
Yeah.
You either get him or me and it goes directly to iMessage.
Yeah.
We're not even using like Google Voice or something in between. Like it's just straight up my phone number.
No AI or anything like that. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to respond to what you say.
So when you inevitably text me at 3 a.m., just give me a couple hours. I will get back to you.
It's going to like reply back like, you should be sleeping. Your metrics like, what are you doing? You want to talk a little bit around YC?
Yeah.
So you founded it here. Is that right? When did you found?
Well, let's be
founding.
clear. We founded HYBRD here.
Right.
Not YC.
Right. Correct. YC was not founded here. Well, it was.
Wait a second.
No, we don't even need to clip it. We're gonna work this through for the audience. YC was founded here. It moved to San Francisco. Couple decades later, HYBRD was founded here.
Yes.
Yeah. It went to San Francisco briefly for YC.
Yeah. Yes, and then
it
came
is back.
Yes, that's correct.
And we think YC could come back to Boston.
Oh yeah,
and we really want it to come back to Boston.
Well, let's pin that because I want to spend like 20 minutes on that.
Okay.
So walk me through you started right after Whoop. Is that right? Or was there a time in between? Like walk me through the founding.
Yeah. So on our founding team, there's 4 of us.
Okay.
3 out of 4 of us used to work at Whoop.
Whew.
And the way that it kind of went was my co-founder Shu left first.
Okay.
And she went to a company in the Boston area, startup. It was like seed stage that was doing mobile app portfolio aggregation. So they were buying small apps that were doing single-digit millions of dollars a year in revenue, bring them into a portfolio, implementing standard business levers like pricing, paywalls, paid UA, et cetera. While she was there, they decided that they wanted to double down on fitness. And so they needed somebody to come in and run that org and that portfolio. And so Shu convinced me to join her at that company. And then down the line, I needed to hire somebody to run product within my org. And so I brought in Mats.
I just do whatever Ben wants, really.
He said, come do this podcast.
Let's do it.
Like, okay.
It's led me well so far. So.
Okay.
While we were there was kind of when we had the first inklings of HYBRD as a concept. Like we had been tracking our own workouts in a spreadsheet for years because, I use a Whoop, a Garmin, a bike computer. I track my lifts and heavy. Like I have like 10 different things that I'm tracking stuff in, and putting that full picture together for myself was really hard. And so we started thinking about this as an idea, spent a little time kind of like gaming it out, talking to like potential customers, et cetera. And eventually realized, there is a market for this. There is a good opportunity here. Let's actually pursue this. And so we worked with Apex on figuring out a transition timeline that made sense. And then that got really lucky that lined up perfectly with our getting into and being accepted into YC. So we actually only had probably about like a week and a half difference between ending that role and moving to San Francisco.
Yeah.
So we wrote the first line of code for HYBRD on the plane to San Francisco to participate in YC.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Which was sick.
Yeah, that's
really
awesome.
crazy.
So it's not even like, you had a base in Boston because you lived here, but it's not like the company was really even founded in, it is conceptually, but it's not like, you give me the story the way you just get it. You just said it to me. And if like 2 founders came up to me today and they were like, this is where we're at, and they're going to YC, I'll be like, see ya, have a good time. I'm not, it's like, as much as I'm a Boston diehard, it's like, oh, is this the battle I want to fight? Trying to get them to come back after?
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yet here you are.
Yes.
Run us through. So YC how was the experience? And then we'll get to why you came back.
Yeah, YC is a 10 out of 10. If you get the opportunity to participate, absolutely should. When I think about like accelerators and programs in general, there are a couple different value vectors that somebody could get from them. There's like financial, both in terms of like capital injection from the accelerator itself, also in terms of getting in front of investors. There's the actual knowledge and the people that you get to learn from, work with, help you solve your problems. There's your cohorts or your peers in the cohort, and who are those people? How do you get along with them? Are they actually going to be like valuable in helping you both as a friend and as just a peer in general over the long run? Distribution in terms of them putting you on their socials, blasting, things along those lines. Reputation, does being a part of some accelerator actually give you some type of respect or not? And then lastly, intangibles, things like credits and like getting free stuff and stuff like that. YC hits all of those. And so like from start to finish, great experience 10 out of 10. I don't know what like the business would be like without it, because it was such a formative process for us at the very, very earliest stages, and really shaped our mindset on building and how to build and how to ship and things along those lines too.
Yeah, I think the one thing I'd add to that, Ben, I think very well laid out all the known things about YC that you can read about it online. I think the thing that I didn't expect about YC, but I'm really thankful for, is that they do a really good job of cultivating a belief in you that you can just do things, and you don't really need anyone's permission to, take that big swing with your company, go build that part of the product, pitch to someone. And the good news is you don't need YC to have that in you. Many of the best founders in the world didn't do YC and have that. And there's many institutions like Harvard and MIT here in Boston that can give you a similar feeling. And you don't even need a credential at all. Like that's something you can just decide. You could listen to this podcast and decide, I'm going to change the world. But I'm really thankful to YC for really instilling that in us. I think we had the raw materials there, but they really put like the fine point on it.
That's awesome. I kind of have a hot take on that actually.
Hit us.
Ooh.
I think we could use a lot more of we just do it. Let's just do it here, in Boston, as a city.
100% agree.
Not asking permission, not overthinking or trying to calculate. It's just I'm gonna do it. Might fail, might be the wrong idea, but then I'm gonna do something else.
I mean, look how we got here.
Yeah, you guys
this
are
all
doing
started
great.
from you posting on LinkedIn, and you've had some of the most successful entrepreneurs in the state come onto this podcast. And
No, I appreciate it. I mean, it was the same thing. I was just I'm gonna do it. Why not?
Yeah.
And great
Could be
things
the wrong
happen.
thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I do think in my experience, at least elite education, it selects for and then it reinforces this idea of you shouldn't fail.
Yeah.
And a lot
Yeah,
of just
that's
do
true.
it is don't fail.
Yep.
Right.
But I think, as you start launching businesses and you do these things, you learn that actually you can fail as many times as you want, as long as you don't fail catastrophically with fraud. But as long as you don't do that, then you can fail 9 times and everyone's people will only remember the 10th, right?
Yeah, totally.
I remember your LinkedIn posts that no one watched. No one read them. They exist. You can look them up. Go back in the history.
We don't have any like that, but
Go back. It's like 2 likes.
I
And
thought I've liked every single one.
one is his aunt,
That's true.
But I think we do need a little bit more of that F it, I'm going to ship it, especially nowadays when it's shipping is easier than ever.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I think one of the cool things about AppX as a role was, by nature of being a portfolio company, we were always talking to founders to potentially see if it would be a good fit for something we would want to buy. And I walked away from a lot of those conversations being that guy's got a really good business, but nothing about what he's doing or his background is particularly special. Why him and not me? It made entrepreneurship feel approachable in a way that wasn't necessarily the case in Boston before that, because it's not as big of a pervasive culture as it probably needs to be.
Yeah.
And when you work at a company like Whoop, you're surrounded by these people that are best in the world at what they do. And it's really easy to compare yourself to being oh, I'm not as good at, marketing as this person or strategic finance as that person. I'm not ready yet. When in reality, going from 0 to 1, none of those skills matter. And it just is about figuring it out as you go and learning on the job. And that's what makes magic happen.
How much did YC help you with storytelling? Did
That's a good question.
you feel you got better over the time, or did they you're nodding, so I'm gonna let you answer it.
Yeah, I mean, one of the first things they do when you get in is they start to they help you shape out what is your 2-sentence description.
Yeah.
And it's just you need to be able to communicate very succinctly to investors, to customers, to everybody else. What is it that you do and why should they care?
What do you do?
Straight on the spot.
HYBRD builds a world-class coach for hybrid athletes in your pocket. We are a team of ex-Whoop hybrid athletes ourselves. And then if you're pitching to investors, you're we have X tractions.
And you will make lots of money if you invest in us and look good to your peers, et cetera. Yeah.
Exactly.
But it is a consumer company, right? And so, so we get to, actually, let's finish the YC story. But you came back. Get me back to you had this 10 out of 10 experience. You raised money. I know people who've gone to YC and they all are advised, you got to be where the action is. And the action is only in San Francisco. You disagree?
I think that the action is in San Francisco for certain industries.
Yeah.
I think that if we were selling B2B SaaS, that's where all the customers are for the most part. It probably makes sense to be there. But for us, if you're a consumer company, you're not really tied to any particular geographical location. It's more about where are your customers. Yes, there's capital in San Francisco. Yes, there's talent in San Francisco. For fitness tech consumer, San Francisco isn't the best in the world at talent by any means. There's good talent in Boston. There's talent in New York, Austin, Texas, et cetera. And from a financing perspective, like I love Jason Kelly's comment about this of like the secret about money is that
You don't need trucks.
it moves pretty easily. You can just fly across the country again. And so, we raised our money and we came back here because Boston is home. It's where our networks are. It's the place that we want to be, the place we want to like raise families in the long run, et cetera.
What about like capital with YC? Do you guys like raise out West Coast or here? Or like what?
I mean,
what's the story?
we technically raised out West Coast. Most of our investors are West Coast, but I only did 2 meetings in person.
Wow.
Like we're in the Zoom world now, so
Yeah.
it shouldn't necessarily be a geographical blocker to be able to get it done.
And I think the 2 in person, they both said no, right? So
That's true, actually.
You're like much more attractive on Zoom.
He's taller on Zoom, actually.
That's right. I'm 6 feet tall when I'm talking to a screen.
Yeah. Well, maybe you just needed more time with the app,
Yeah, that's right.
Get a little more
We can fix
chiseled.
that.
Yeah.
One more YC question, kind of in like the Jason Kelly vein, is like humanizing the founder experience. So like
100%.
back to your like Apex, like seeing founders, etc. How do we like do that more here? Like get people who want to be founders like in front of people who are founders and like kind of like break down the like the risk, the like I can do that too, like part of that part of the equation.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot of different groups trying to help tackle that problem right now. Like you guys are one of them. Massachusetts AI Coalition obviously is doing a lot. We're doing a lot on the community side in that front. There's, any number of like MIT, Harvard, Babson, Bentley, Northeastern, et cetera, that are trying to start to like bring in more founders to be able to come and talk. I'm actually going to talk to Babson tonight.
Oh, that's awesome.
They have a hackathon tonight. Right?
They have a hackathon on Saturday, which I'm also doing.
Hell yeah.
I went to Babson for
busy
context,
guy.
so I'm like I'm partial to helping out those guys. But I think that the way that really gets better is by founders in Boston taking the time to go and like volunteer time to get in front of people that are not yet founders. I think that the Boston culture is like the world of talent. Like there's this massive funnel of people that could be really successful founders.
Yeah.
And then if you think about the funnel that gets down to like actually taking swing to become founder, you get this like blockage in the middle of like, I want to be a founder, but I don't really know any founders. And it's like pretty scary and the culture doesn't really support it. Like that's where the blocker is right now. And so the more that you can take people like us in this room and be like, hey, like we're just a guy that took the swing and now are kind of just riding the lightning and making it work. I think the better.
Yeah, for sure.
Bin lightning rider Katz. Put it on. No, I do think there's something there because I think people have said like you go to YC, one of your first events, they have a talk or something, and you sit down and you watch Gary interview Mark Zuckerberg, and you're like, oh, Mark's just a nerd, bro.
Yeah.
He's just a nerd like us. Like he's had a lot of successes and he's impressive, but like I could play Dungeons and Dragons with this guy, or we could go, I guess, like surfboarding or something. Like he's like out there, he's like it normalizes people, and I think even at this point, like VoiceFriend's doing okay, but even if I got putting a one-on-one with I don't know Brian Halligan today, I probably wouldn't be 100% authentic. I want to be 100% authentic, but at some point you're like, it also is good for my company if he thinks we're really smart and doesn't see any warts and does all these things, right? And you're kind of always balancing this when you move, up, right? When you're like talking to someone up. And I think, but the best stuff happens when you're just really authentic with someone.
Totally
and
agree.
so like, how do we create those worlds where people get that, I don't know. End rant.
I think part of the YC thing, I mean, you guys definitely interested to hear, but like the moments of like feeling vulnerable in a startup, I'm like, I'm sure they're like a lot. Like stuff always doesn't go.
All
to
the time,
me. It's like,
I haven't felt not vulnerable.
so like breaking down the barriers to like have those conversations with people, I feel like happens a lot less here. So it's like, how do we like create those rooms and stuff?
I think one of the things that was really cool about YC for me was when, I forever, I've known that I wanted to start my own company for a decade. Mm-hmm. And I've put YC founders on this pedestal for a really long time because I don't know any. Yeah. Because in Boston, they're way less common than they are out in San Francisco. I'm like, oh, this is like the best program. This is the best founders, biggest companies, whatever. And then we somehow get in, and I'm like, holy crap, they fat fingered our application button. Like, this is amazing. And so, accept. No take backs. And so we kind of get in the room for the first time, and I'm like, looking around, I'm like, wait, you guys don't know what you're doing either? Like, it kind of like, made it pulls back the Wizard of Oz curtain a little bit.
Right.
And I think you can just it's a high trust environment where you can be really vulnerable with, the cohort of people that you're with, but also with the YC partner that what I didn't realize before YC is like the guy who's reading your application or the person that's reading your application is also the person that's deciding whether to accept you, is also the person that would be investing in you, and then is the person that works with you during the batch and for the lifetime of your company afterwards. And we have an amazing YC partner in Dalton Caldwell, who's now running Standard Capital. And what was awesome is like, I think what we really realized in those office hours is that once you're in, like, there's no posturing anymore. Like, we didn't go to Dalton and be like, yeah, everything's going amazingly. Like, you can just kind of show where you're at, wherever you're at. And the more honest you are, the more his expertise can help you. And I think to your point, like, the more we can have those conversations in Boston as well, we're like, let's just like look at the patient on the table and see what we can do here. It's not every startup, as YC said, is badly broken at some point. So it's fine. It's part of the process. Like, let's just see everything.
Yeah. Like the amount of founders we've talked to have been like, oh, my company like almost died. And it's like, okay, well, that's like every day. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, he said last YC company. I'm going to ask one more YC question because I'm looking for sound bites. Here's my sound bite. Why should YC open up in Cambridge?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. What's your pitch?
I mean, I'll take a crack at it, and then the men you should go too. But Harvard and MIT, like, that's where all
Babson.
Babson.
Yeah. Go
Babson,
Beavers.
in that order.
Roll beef. Defend the dam.
Beavers too?
Yes.
What?
Somebody somewhere is going to watch this and love that.
Pro Beavers.
Yes. That can be your soundbite. I'll start over.
Okay, you give it to us fresh.
So I think all the exciting value of AI is where AI actually meets the physical world. Of course, San Francisco is doing amazingly right now in the pure software applications of AI. But when I think about like all the greatest problems facing humanity, that's where like AI intersects with robotics or healthcare, biotech. And I can't think of a better place to be than Boston and Cambridge for those fields. And so, of course, San Francisco is going to go out to an early lead on the quote unquote easy stuff of the pure software. But in the long run, someone needs to be tackling those hard problems. And I think Boston's very well positioned to be there. And then YC wants to be where the best talent is. And so that should be here.
The only thing that I'll add on top of that is that obviously the game that YC plays is being the first ones to the biggest things. And where like the pipeline of potential first ones at Harvard, MIT, and the university here is probably a higher density than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah. Maybe we can take a little bit of a turn away from YC.
No.
Love it. We'll bring we'll
towards hybrid?
Yeah. You guys want to talk about
Download, subscribe, 5-star review.
Download.
Exactly. Like
That's going to get edited out.
No. We're gonna put that in. That's gonna be like the teaser. It's gonna be like download, 5-star review, and then third priority, subscribe and pay.
There we go.
Then text us in the app.
Yeah, the text. Lots of texts. I want to talk about a little bit around founder brand. I'm not going to pump your tires too much, but
don't hold back.
Ben, I mean, within Boston, Ben is pretty well known. I think you got 35,000 followers on LinkedIn, whatever followers on LinkedIn means.
Oh my God.
I was just like a measuring stick. I was like, wow, that's a lot.
These car videos.
Yeah.
It's all about Bad Bunny.
Exactly.
They knew. The Super Bowl, they knew. How do you what do you think? Because I think this is an area where a lot of Boston founders fall short. And so I'm going to give you just kind of open canvas to talk about, right? Like, how do you think about founder brand? How do you think about people hearing what you have to say? What things do you think I think most people think they have to have the perfect thing to say it. Mm-hmm. And don't take this the wrong way. I don't think you always have the perfect thing to say.
Far from
No.
it.
So tell me a little bit around your own personal philosophy. I think you're doing a good job. And I think people could use to.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think generally the way that I think about it is I try I think that pretending that you're an expert on something is overrated. I think giving an authentic telling of like your perspective or something that you learned or something that you failed at, et cetera, is A, way more valuable for your audience, and B, way more engaging. I think that by putting content out into the world, you increase the surface area for serendipity. You have a higher likelihood that somebody somehow sees it that will either be a potential partner, an advisor, an investor, a customer, et cetera. And we've gotten all of those just from me kind of yelling into the void on the cringiest platform that there is. But like the thing that's really great about
TikTok?
Well, you haven't seen my TikTok content.
Okay. Download TikTok. Subscribe to HYBRD. Then get the app. Then
It'll be good for
then
you.
5-star review.
I think about LinkedIn as a channel, whereas like the customer there is actually not a consumer customer. It's like I want to A, like help other founders. B, I want to like kind of tell a little bit of the story and journey of HYBRD, because that's what gets you evangelists, people want to buying in the mission, supporting you, et cetera. And, you know, at the earliest days of a company, like one of the differentiators is who is running it and do I like that person and do I want them to win? And so just try to provide as much value as I can and just keep putting it out into the world. And I'm confident that in the long run, that's going to come full circle and provide value back to us in the business, and already has in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the hard side of social media, like dealing with all these like posts, like hate mail.
He's been on
all this
LinkedIn
stuff,
Lunatics.
crazy-
Oh,
Oh, you've been on LinkedIn Lunatics?
Yeah, I got
my
posted on LinkedIn
God.
Lunatics.
Yeah, that was tough to watch.
Mott's is like doing my
all
board
my friends are texting me like, "Yo, isn't this your co-founder?"
Mott's is like, it's tough to watch every night before I go to bed.
I mean, it's super uncomfortable. Like I went from being like I'll post once a year for my anniversary on Instagram.
Right.
That's the only usage that I have on social media. Like I didn't have TikTok. I had never posted on LinkedIn, et cetera. It's now I'm a consumer tech founder and it's part of the job.
Yeah.
And getting comfortable with that took months. I committed to being like, I'm going to post every day for 90 days. And if nothing happens, I'll figure something else out. But then things started to happen.
Yeah.
And you kind of eventually get comfortable with all of those different things, those repercussions, et cetera. And you know, it's only been net good for the business. And even the things where, you know, like that LinkedIn Lunatics thing, like one of the things you have to tell yourself over and over is that like the human attention span is very, very short.
Yeah.
Like there is a maximum of like maybe 2 days where this matters. And then beyond that, it's just back to slate zero. And so just keep going and roll with those punches as they come.
Yeah. And what all platform, what's your stack? You got LinkedIn, you got TikTok. That's more just
TikTok.
like we're getting downloads. Instagram, probably the same thing.
Yeah.
You're on X.
I'm kind of on X.
Every
Every time I open X, I feel like the world's ending.
Yeah.
At least like in the last like couple months. So I've kind of toned down my X a little bit.
I mean, maybe that's just the real.
I hope not.
I hope not. Yeah, hope
World's
not.
ending, go into space.
Yeah, if you're afraid of the world ending, HYBRD will help you get faster and stronger so you can survive in the apocalypse.
Still works. Still works. It's like the Jeff Bezos, like, what 10 years from now, what are the things that aren't going to change? It's like people are going to need to be fit and capable. And so any advice, so your advice is kind of like, just fucking do it for 90 days. And then like, if you're really not getting any traction, follow me and see what I do. No.
You should do that first. Start there.
Yeah, I mean, like general advice would be you need to be consistent. You need to take it from a place of authenticity. Don't try to pretend you're an expert on something that you're not. It's only going to make it harder for you and more likely that the content comes across as garbage. Like, the way that I think about it fundamentally right now, especially with the way that AI is going, I know you and I share some of the opinions on like what that could potentially mean for jobs, et cetera. Like, you have to be your own distribution system.
Yeah.
LinkedIn is the billboard advertising you.
Yeah.
And so if in a pile of 500 resumes, what's going to make it stand out? It's going to be, oh, I've actually like seen this guy on LinkedIn. And you know, there's a handful of like college kids all the time will ask me like, what's something I want to work in fitness tech? How do I do that? And I say, put yourself out there over and over and be at the top of my LinkedIn feed or my other feeds, et cetera, because it keeps you top of mind. And so, you know, I have people that I could name right now, and I won't for a lot of reasons, but like if somebody was, I want a salesperson or I want a marketing person, et cetera, who would you recommend? I have these 23-year-old kids and I'm like, I see them grinding every day, posting about these things. I would happily recommend and endorse them.
I'm curious on your like stack on like content. So like I've been trying to like post a lot more on LinkedIn, like plan my weekly post, but like sometimes just like doing the content, like putting the work in, it's like, it's hard. It's like being on a treadmill, like you just like got to keep on going, got to keep on, maybe at least in the first part, but like still it's definitely like an active thing that I try to do to like look for new content for every week, like put it out. Like how do you schedule that, plan that? Yeah.
So I do it off the cuff every morning.
Wow.
I don't really plan it out. I have a running list of things that I could write about.
Yep.
And then my process for writing it is I will whisper flow and just like brain dump as if I was explaining a topic to you guys into Claude. And then that helps me like frame the like brain dump into actual written words. And then I take that and edit and work off of that as the foundation. So I don't like let ChatGPT or Claude or anything like that write the posts. It all comes from me, is edited by me. I think that part of the authenticity thing is really important.
Yeah.
You kind of mentioned that you're in Boston because you were in Boston. Have there been, I mean, you kind of mentioned some of the tailwinds, but have there been any like headwinds to being here that you see other consumer companies or you see other companies that you're like, oh man, they like, things are going well. And maybe it's because I'm over, they're over there and I'm over here.
I think it's one of those things where it's like, maybe there were perceived headwinds where you're like, oh, I can't believe there's not as many of these like consumer events every night or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I've kind of realized that, at least for the phase that we've been at with HYBRD, we're kind of in a phase where we just need to lock in for a year or two and like focus on what we're doing. And like, we want to get out there, of course, but like at a certain point, like, does the 10th like San Francisco consumer founder meetup thing like really add that much more value? Like, I've really been enjoying the quality bar has been really high here in Boston, because I think like every time when we've gone to those sorts of things, it's been really intentional. It's people that are like kind of contrarian, they're not necessarily following the crowd. And I also think it's kind of like the whole point of startups is that you have some alternative opinion. So there's definitely perceived headwinds, but I don't think our business would look that different if we were all in San Francisco.
I'd say our biggest headwind from a Boston perspective is that for our business in particular, shirts off outside Instagram workout content does well, and that season is short here.
For who? I don't understand.
For us, not 0.2% Nords.
Don't worry though. This summer we'll really make hay when the sun shines.
Yeah, that's good. All right. Wow. Yeah, I think you got to just start running in the cold Trillis, bro. Come on now.
I don't know.
Better content.
I want to move us in a second into like some big vision for HYBRD of like, what's it going to look like? How's it going to change? How's it going to change the company, the world, Boston, all that. Before that, I'm going to read something to you, just a little piece of it. Let you react.
Okay.
I saw this on Twitter.
Okay, great.
You're going to have to pay every athlete. You can't measure sleep non-invasively. It's too expensive to research. Athletes are a small market. The product costs too much to make. The product costs too much to sell. Your valuation is too high. Consumers aren't going to want it. Hardware is too hard. You should measure steps. Fitbit is going to kill you. You know what I'm referencing, and how does it make you feel?
That's
it's a
my
Will
goat.
Ahmed classic.
That's my goat, Will Ahmed.
That's your goat, Will Ahmed.
That one's so sad.
Fucking loves Boston.
Yeah.
He's pumped. He's doing great work.
Yep.
Something to aspire to? Like,
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean,
you just proved that it's possible to do here in Boston. Like, don't make excuses. Just get it done.
okay.
Sick.
I could keep reading. He gets to a Nike quote later.
He loves Shoe Dog. Shoe Dog's like, I think, his favorite book, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. What's HYBRD going to look like 5 years from now? Everything breaks right. It won't. But say it does.
I think it's just the same thing we're doing now, but at a much larger scale with more data inputs.
Yeah.
Obviously, the more data on somebody we can get, the more we can help them accomplish their goals, as long as they're willing to abide by whatever we're recommending. And so like right now, everything is based on training data. And so that's, heart rate, it's musculoskeletal load, things along those lines. But to our discussion earlier about CGMs, like what you eat and what that does to your blood glucose, et cetera, is really important here. Nutrition, incredibly important. Sleep, recovery, et cetera, incredibly important. We'll be feeding more and more of those inputs into the platform and be able to give guidance and advice about how you should be training in order to accomplish your goals, and also what you should change about those other inputs and what recommendations we would give you there, and not just use them as inputs, but also turn them into outputs too. So the long-term vision is HYBRD is the world-class coach that every athlete deserves, but at a fraction of the price. And so no matter what you're training for and what your goals are, we can help you get there and plug in with everything else you're using.
No notes.
Nice. Can I throw out things I've seen coaches do with me before that I'm curious to, like, are you going to do these? So, okay, obviously, like, training plan makes sense. You guys are crushing it already. When I ran track in college, there was like, I was a decathlete, so I had to do 10 different events. One of them I was particularly terrible at was throwing javelin. Mm-hmm. It's just a weird arm movement. You really have to like do something weird. Like, is it going to be able to coach me on like technique of different athletic activities, or is that kind of out of scope for now? I'm just
long-term, like maybe, but it's definitely out of scope right now.
Okay.
It's more focused on core fitness and capability as opposed to technique and specifics on those things.
Cool.
I think the kind of open question in this world is, I think what a great coach does is it's not just a training plan. They're also really deeply understanding like your psychology. And I think a great human coach would have been like, hey, like the javelin is your weak point in the decathlon. Like, what can we do to address that? Would talk to you like before that event, would work it into the program going forwards. I think that's the big question is like, how good are AI agents going to be? Are they going to be like, I think they're already like 80% of what a human coach can do.
Yeah.
Can they be 100%? Can they be 500%? That's a big open question for us.
Yeah.
What about like coaching style? Like some people respond better than that versus like.
And it's dynamic, even like in the moment.
Dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely something we need to be able to incorporate and account for. Because to your point, everybody has different things that they respond to, work well with, et cetera. Right now, we're more focused on how do we just make it do all of the like tactical, functional things that we need a coach to be able to do. But having those types of application layers on top, I think, are really important. There's a couple other things that we think could be interesting there with human coach interaction as well, but it's a down the line problem for us.
Yeah. I think some of the most magical things, like my coach in college was so good at this, like we're running like laps, right? It's track. And so, he's like, he's asking annoying ass things like, do you even want to be here? And I swear, I had
the same one.
And maybe yours was just as good at this. I mean, I was to the point, it's like, I'm a D3 athlete. I'm not on scholarship. I don't have to be here. And I swear I'd be running around and be like, if he says one more thing, I'm fucking walking off this track. And I'd come by and he's like, I was a little better. It was like,
he knew.
People need
exactly.
He knew exact, but it also wasn't even like, it was like the minimal viable compliment. I'm gonna you can trademark that.
That's good.
Minimum viable compliment for me not to walk off the track, and it was like that was better. That was better, Leonard.
And I think to that point, there's going to be really interesting applications of what we're building at Hybrid, where it's also a hybrid between the coach and the agent. Whereas, I think there's going to be world-class coaches out there that they can reach many more athletes through Hybrid, but there's still going to be some option where they can also work with that athlete directly in person. And so that coach is spending way less time on the more like operational stuff of like, okay, you want to move your rest day from Sunday to Monday or whatever. Like we can handle that. And the coach is 100% of their time doing that kind of really differentiating stuff, which is deeply understanding the athlete and coaching them.
Yeah. And right now, is there any real-time coaching, or is it's all like preparation and planning?
Just if you text us.
Okay.
You can text us.
This guy gets it. He's like, that's your fault for not subscribing. And then, cool. I'll be super. I'll be.
If you need someone to, if you're like, I've had users been like, why did I do worse on this run? And I'm like, do you want to jump on a call? Like we can talk about it.
And what do you, okay, so say same world, 5 years, everything's broken right. You're still in Boston. How you think the team's going to be growing? Like right now you're working out of a self-proclaimed storage closet.
It's a great storage closet.
Great, yeah.
Self-proclaimed great storage closet. No, which is so awesome because it's in the gym. Like I get that, but like I'm assuming the team's not very big right now. We're in this weird world of like transformative AI technology. What do you think the team, how does it change over time?
I mean, I think that our ethos right now, especially being as early as we are, is we want to keep the team as lean as possible for as long as possible. Are there people that I would like to hire at this stage? 100%. Will we hire those people in the long run? Probably. Will we need as many as we would have 5 years ago? Definitely not. I think that one of the things that is pretty magical about what we're building and how we're building it is I think about the landscape of tech fitness products as a Venn diagram where you have products that are built by athletes that have limited to no technology experience, and then products that are built by technologists that have limited athletic experience. And then there's this sweet, sweet middle spot where we are, where it's like, we live it, we love it, our background is actually in the technology side of it, et cetera. And so I would rather take a longer time to hire people that really fit and live that ethos than try and like blitz scale and get a bunch of additional developers or TikTok people and whatever else to join.
You guys do a lot of influencer marketing. This is again for the audience because I don't think we know how to sell to consumers. And I'm just like,
dude, consumers hard, man.
Yeah.
We actually are just now starting to dip our toes into some of the more like paid acquisition channels.
Yeah. Find people willing to run with their shirt off in the winter.
Yeah, exactly. They have better physiques than me. But we, I mean, the way that we've been focused on the business from the start is we want to build something that's durable. And so we have focused highly on conversion rates, on retention rates, and then only once those hit certain criteria were we willing to actually start investing in the top of funnel on the capital side. And so we've started dipping our toes in some of the standard paid channels, UGC, influencers, things along those lines. And we're still experimenting and figuring out what works best for our business, what resonates the most with our audience, and kind of figuring out some of those details now.
Can I encourage you to put some of those learnings into your LinkedIn posts that you put out later?
Yes.
I will not just I will incite. I will press hold and drag down and give you the insightful.
That's a pretty compelling offer.
Yeah. The light bulb. For the lightning rider. Should we do rapid fire?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. It's gonna be we're just talking about Boston, so this is low stakes. What do you think is the most underrated Boston startup right now?
Ooh.
I know it's kind of like a trap question because the underrated is like a loaded word.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Boston startup?
Favorite? I think that one of the ones that I personally love that I don't think many people, at least in Boston, have heard of, such are aware of, is Output Sports, which does VBT, which is velocity-based training technology that helps you quantify what is like the muscular impact of an exercise by actually tracking how fast are you lifting that like weight over time, and how does that differ as you kind of progress through the things, et cetera. It's like creating this whole new, and they're not the first ones to do it. There's a couple of companies that have done this, but they're doing a really great job with it. And the thing that's cool about it is like data that ultimately we want to pipe into HYBRD so that we can help give better recommendations and prescriptions, et cetera, around strength training as well.
You like with sensors, cameras? Like, how are they doing this?
Yeah, there's a couple different ways that you can do it.
Right.
I think an underrated one that has been blowing my mind recently is 4A Biosciences. They're also joining the Massachusetts AI Coalition. They are, from my understanding, they can basically grow any plant in a lab. And so they're doing things like growing wood in a lab, and you'll be able to use that for timber down the line. I was hearing a bunch of stuff how they can grow any seed, so if they can like reforest the national parks with these lab grown plants, and it's just blowing my mind.
So they're not like, they grow the wood not from a seed. They grow from something else. That's just growing.
My understanding, I imagine it. You open up some lab and there's just there's a huge
it's kind of like we can grow organs for human for animals.
Yeah, this is one of those businesses that goes over my head in terms of the how.
Yeah.
But so Alex Grant, one of the people that is an operator on that team, he's a good friend, but he describes it as basically being able to grow anything from a single cell. And so turn that cell into any other cell and like grow the thing from it, which is a pretty amazing vision.
Yeah.
And the team behind it is super smart. They're executing really well and working really hard at accomplishing that.
We need this to happen because I need like more rare exotic woods to build guitars with.
All the plants in here could be whatever you want.
The rainforest and all this stuff, just like grow in the lab.
Yeah. Who's a Boston founder more people should know?
I think Michael Kirsten is probably a good fit for that. He is building a go-to-market tool for HubSpot in particular and LinkedIn.
First Touch.
First Touch. Yeah.
First Touch is the company name?
First Touch is the company name.
Yeah.
But he's a phenomenal founder that has like for sure ridden the founder journey with some highs and lows and has finally found something that is like really working for him. And he's coming at it from a place of personal experience, pain point, and doing a really good job of building a powerful company and talking about it a lot on LinkedIn, which you guys should all do too.
Fourth wall. This guy's got it. He does LinkedIn. He does live. He does TikTok.
Yo, I got to get on the LinkedIn payroll.
Yeah, seriously. It's a deep payroll. It's in fitness. What's the best place in Boston to train? Maybe we'll do strength and cardio.
Ooh.
HYBRD Stadium. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say Arsenal Performance.
That too. If you want to work out with us. But if you're just looking for a way to, basically year round, you can get outside. If you've never been in the HYBRD Stadium, the steps are really, really large. So it feels more like doing squats than running stairs. And so you'll get a great blend of strength and cardio. And you'll see a bunch of other diabolical people there every morning.
Yeah. Yeah, 39 rows, or I don't know if they're
that
a row.
Sounds about right, yeah.
You run up the seats, you can jog down the stairs, you can walk down, you can do any kind of mix of cadence.
You should see the way Motz does the HYBRD Stadium. He like yeets himself.
I realized that gravity is probably faster than me running up. So my strategy, and I would not recommend doing this for safety reasons, but I think the best way to do it is basically throw yourself down the big stairs.
My best chance of getting an equity grant refresh is Motz going down the steps.
Oh gosh,
worth it.
You need life. Yeah, you're gonna like founder insurance on the stadium. Okay, so best place in Boston to train strength and cardio, HYBRD Stadium.
Arsenal Performance in Watertown is fantastic if you're watching the city as well.
Also has great office space. I've heard. I've heard
storage closet. We can fit one more.
Fast growing incubator.
Yeah.
Run by Ehrlich Bachman.
Oh, nice. All right. We're good here. We made a Silicon Valley reference. We're good.
If you guys had to build your next company, build in Boston, like what would it be? Another fitness, like something else? Like
I'm really keen. I want to do HYBRD for a really long time, maybe the rest of my life, but I'm so inspired by everyone in Boston that's building at this like intersection of bits and atoms. I'd love to do something at the intersection of AI and the real world. I think I needed the reps at HYBRD to ever be able to tackle that because I'd have no idea how to do that. But there's all these cool stories of founders taking their second and third swings at these really like civilizational problems, and I'd love to see that happening in Boston.
Awesome.
Ben?
I would plus one to that. I also think that there's something interesting there's something that like kind of captures my imagination a little bit with like the changes that are happening to the like capital landscape with AI.
Yeah.
I think that there's going to be massive value accumulation at the top and at the bottom. And I think in that world, there's a lot of opportunity to figure out how do you create portfolio of companies at the bottom and finance those in a way that is alternative to venture capital, because a lot of those businesses will be very good cash flowing businesses, but won't necessarily be fit for venture model.
Yeah, actually, almost like search funds or Apex or there's some other version.
There's something interesting in there
Yeah.
that I think could be both really fun, because I mean, what founder doesn't have a little bit of shiny object syndrome while they're building out stuff? Like if you're a tinkerer, you want to tinker. But also I think that it's a great way to, like in a world like we've talked about where AI does end up taking some jobs away, the more we can empower people to build their own jobs and start their own companies and have that autonomy, I think is a good thing.
All right, last question. It's the same one if you've seen any of other podcasts. Who, if you were tuning into this episode, other than the two of you, would you most want to hear that's in Boston? Who should we go request to get on the pod?
You got to get Ryan Durkin on the pod.
Yeah.
He's a machine. He's a machine. I think a lot of the great things that are happening in Boston right now are thanks to his leadership and the support he's getting at Whoop. The guy can talk and he can get you fired up. So I would recommend.
What should we ask him?
Everything.
You don't have to, right? You can just like, how's the weather? And then just he'll give you the whole thing.
He'll give you the answers and the questions.
He'll interview you.
He will. I've known Durkin for maybe like eight or 9 years.
Nice.
Yeah. You don't. It's an experience.
Radio Durkin.
Dude, fun fact, Durkin, I talked to Durkin for advice on PM interviews before I got my first PM job.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
That's how I first connected with him. And now it's full circle.
Yeah.
He's single-handedly saving
That's
the
awesome.
city.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, for real.
Yeah. Anyone else? Or
I mean, I would love to see Will on this platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Will Ahmed on this would be pretty awesome.
Will, this isn't the first time you've been requested. Yeah, this is not the first time you've been requested. We're going to get you on here. Well,
Awesome.
thank you both for being on. We really appreciate
Thank
it.
you,
I know
guys.
the audience loves to hear. I think a lot of them follow Ben, at least on LinkedIn. So we are happy to have you on the
That's the real
podcast.
reason I got the invite. You guys just want the LinkedIn post.
we need it. We need it. That's how it's done. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you,
us,
guys.
This was fun.
All right.